Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic, a non-FBA in Minnesota, black male, got his remindment from a racist terror suspect. And for the person who don't know what FBA means, that means Foundational Black American, which basically means several generations, at least going back to the 1800s, that can genealogize, showing that they have an American Black background collectively on that part. So that part is out the way. Let me go ahead and just read you this particular article before I get into this particular video. Minneapolis police have taken a man into custody almost a week after he allegedly shot his neighbor in the neck. The culmination of a month-long campaign of racial harassment and threats. According to local reports and other documents, the city's police department, the one this applies to, is facing mounting criticism for not making an arrest sooner, despite the victim making nearly 20 reports about the harassment leading up to the shooting. It talks about how the Minneapolis police chief, O'Hara, at a news conference said, "We failed the victim 100%. A video of the incident, which I'll play in shortly, captured on home surveillance camera and obtained by this particular entity, shows Davis Maturi standing outside just pruning his tree when he suddenly falls to the ground. Maturi was hospitalized with a fractured spine, 2 broken ribs, and a concussion. The alleged shooter, the racial racist terrorist suspect person, John Salchak, Maturi's neighbor, surrendered following an hours-long standoff with the police. He had been charged with attempted murder, felony assault, and stalking and harassment for allegedly shooting Maturi. Maturi's family had called the police to report Salchak for at least 19 incidents of threats, hate speech, and more. Police had been trying since April to arrest Salchak, who had a history of mental illness. Oh, snap. They put out the mental illness for racial racism suspect. I'm going to stop right there and go ahead and play this particular video. And again, unfortunately, this particular non-FBA black male got a remindment card. And you'll have some personnel that be like, oh my goodness, why people got to be so divisive? Because remember that what you call American black males and other people, remember, are in the same boat. Man, you don't get the I am definitely beyond not going to play that little silly ass tactic. American blacks have basically been the ultimate people for many generations who have had the most hate crimes put upon them. Nobody else comes close to the American black male and black woman's anti-American black hatred toward them. Nobody. And the audacity is when you have some damn fools that try to actually pretend to try to throw off American blacks. I'm not talking about sellouts and coonish ones and deflectors. There are ones that have the skin of black who know they are. And again, I'm not talking about numbers of the good ones. The problem is that there are some sellouts and coons that have the skin of black that comes across certain parts of the continent from across that ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. There are certain type of coonish and some sellouts and some deflectors that come across certain, should we say, islands along some of the main islands that are touristy around that Caribbean ocean part. And again, I'm talking about the ones it applies to, right? Because there are certain islands within the Caribbean. There are many people say, what, where is that island at, right? And really not visited, right? So there's a couple of really main islands in general, right? And within that, there are some ones that within that context, right, that have some audacity, right, that arrive to America, right? Because again, like some other person across in certain continent, the one this applies to, that have been allowed to come to America and be a buffer, right? And be a buffer to have an additional replacement for a certain section of American blacks, right? Because none of the personnel from certain parts of, should we say, across that ocean, Atlantic Ocean, don't have a history of American blacks. That don't make any damn sense. And definitely certain ones within certain parts of the Caribbean islands, damn sure don't have the history of American blacks in this country, right? The damn demographic numbers will show that. That's just common ass sense, right? And there are ones that do arrive because, again, the system allows certain ones to come over more than others, right? And so you have ones that be like, oh my goodness, why are American blacks always talking about racism? We arrived over here as first generation, second generation, was a third generation. And by you talk about third generation, there was an extremely minuscule amount of people like that coming from certain parts of the Africa continent, and especially certain extremely small numbers within certain Caribbean islands. But there are ones that have some audacity to get away from those some of those great places and beautiful places, right? To get away from family member, get away from friends, and etc. Right? And think some of them are better than American blacks. The damn nerve. So sometimes the ones that get reminded, and then what do? Oh my goodness! Hey, my American black brothers and sisters. Hey, you don't get out of here. Oh, see, I know that game very well. But let me go ahead and play this particular video. Give me 1 second here.
This graphic video is tough to watch, but the victim wants you to see it.
He says it shows his next door neighbor shooting him just feet from his front door.
Woof. Dang.
Tonight he is in the hospital with a bullet near.
That is terrible now.
Hospital with a bullet near his spine. He says that he spent months asking for some kind of police action against the accused gunman. Now he is demanding answers. Our Jason Ransela has a story you'll see only on WCCO.
Davis Moturi says he was doing yard work outside his South Minneapolis home Wednesday afternoon when he was struck.
I'm in the hospital today because my neighbor shot me.
Moturi is now in the ER at HCMC with a bullet stuck near his spine. Moturi says this all stems from a problem neighbor and began ever since he moved in just over a year ago. He says the man started making threats,
saying like, hey, if you touch that tree, things are gonna come down on you, things are gonna happen to you.
And made racist comments.
I don't like you. All your things you unilaterally
Things escalated from there. Everything from excrement
he ended up dumping human waste through my mail slot
to sounding air horns and screaming late at night. Moturi says while police have been out numerous times, nothing has been done.
But wait. Now, wait a minute now. I got one other quick video on the show. Now, wait a minute now. But according to this person, let me just play it.
100 years ago, kids in classrooms were taught the color of their skin was their most important characteristic. And if they looked a certain way, they were inferior. Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, They're an oppressor. From colleges to corporations to our culture, people are making money and gaining power by pretending we haven't made any progress at all, by doubling down on the divisions we've worked so hard to heal. You know this stuff is wrong. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
Mm. That is what supremacists do when they say, "Well, look at y'all coons. Look at some of those coons." But I guess, Maturi guy, I guess he didn't get that particular message, right? They don't matter. These supremacists, these racial racism terrorists are in some premises, some low level supremacists. They didn't give a damn about Maturi being of a different cultural background, just having to have some black skin, right? They didn't give a damn about that. They saw Negro. And then they sit there and saw Negro with this particular woman who, can go in within the Padang-based culture. Not quite sure where she's from. Don't care. Just saying within the Padang-based cultures category, she fit right within the Caucasian category. And that racial racism suspect guy, he's like, the hell with that, right? And you still see, you got numbers of personnel within certain non-Foundation of Black American personnel, the ones applies to, that actually don't get it. And they think the ones that arrive and the ones that think they know, have no damn clue before they arrive what the hell is going on toward American black males, before they actually was even born, before their parents was born, before their grandparents was damn born. Do you think about that? And unfortunately, there are just not enough American blacks to start putting people's asses in check who got the skin of black, but the ones, I'm not talking about the good ones, but the ones that are Salas and Coonish, ones that run from their own particular islands, certain ones within the Caribbean, the ones obliged to, right? And certain ones across from that Atlantic Ocean, that great continent of Africa. They get away from people that look like them, which is fine if it's, they keep their mouth shut and do their thing. That's fine. But there are ones that got to open their damn mouths up and try to have the nerve of Southern American blacks. You see the audacity of that shit? So in this situation, this particular non-FBA guy, black male, he got reminded, unfortunately. So I'm playing his last particular video on this.
As he cut down a tree last.
Mm-hmm.
The man accused of shooting his neighbor in Minneapolis makes his first court appearance today. 54-year-old John Sawchuk faces attempted murder and other charges for shooting his neighbor in the neck as he was cutting down a tree in his front yard. Fox 9's Karen Scullin with an update on this case tonight. Karen?
Well, this case, of course, has gotten very controversial. A lot of people believing Minneapolis police should have done a lot more to bring John Sawchuk into custody before the shooting, especially since Davis Maturi filed 19 reports with Minneapolis about his neighbor. Today, John Sawchuk faced a judge for the first time for second-degree attempted murder and other charges. He's accused of shooting his neighbor, Davis Maturi, in the neck as he cut down a tree last week in his front yard. In court today, while arguing bail, Hennepin County prosecutor brought up that Sawchuk had a civil commitment in 2016 that expired in 2017, and that 10 people had filed restraining orders against Sawchuk in the last 15 years. The public defender saying he denies the current allegations against him and that he has no felony convictions. The judge gave Sawchuk a $1 million bail with no conditions, or $600,000 with conditions that include, in part, a 3-block no-contact order with Maturi or his wife, which means he could not live at home. He also cannot have firearms. He would be on electronic home monitoring as well. Sawchuk said he could not make bail and repeatedly asked the judge how he can file a restraining order against the Maturis, who, quote, keep coming on my property. He also accuses them of stalking him.
Boy, you talking about the damn nerve of racial racism terrorists trying to flip that back on the black on this particular non-FBA black male. Boy, you know that is some nonsense stuff, right? but that's nothing new, right? American black males and black women for centuries. I'm not talking about some sellouts and some gullible ones, right? But in general, American black males and black women already know what the hell's going on, right? And when American black males and black women, the ones who do this, try to relay over to certain numbers of personnel, none FBAs, about the one this applies to, that don't listen to one that don't apply to, and they get reminded. Now they want to sit and act like that they are brother and sister. It's like, man, you don't go to hell with that tactic. So in closing, why? What you keep talking about? This guy was a non-FBA, huh? I mean, my goodness, now. I mean, how do you know that? I mean, my goodness. I mean, we are brothers. I'm not playing that damn game. See, there are people within certain parts of non-FBA, right? I'm talking about the ones applies to, that really do think American blacks collectively are stupid, right? And just think, hey, man, it's because that person has some skin of dark or medium brown or almost high white, right? From higher other places. They think they're automatic brothers and sisters, right? And that is one of the things that this system is going to use toward American blacks also, besides border breaking illegal immigrant personnel, right? But I make this last point is that usually I wouldn't even play that damn still ass tactic, but I'll just relay this on this one. This particular couple of sentences I'm gonna read from this other thing. These particular authorities within Minneapolis police have come under fire for the manner in which they handle an incident involving a man of Kenyan descent who was shot by his neighbor in Minneapolis. So personnel can piss off the ones who know to try to play that game. Usually I wouldn't play that little tactic, right? So think about it. See, you got people who know what I'm talking about. See, you got people in certain parts of the ancient continent of Africa that can't stand numbers of other African personnel right in a town down the street, right in the country next door, right in the tribe down the road, right? Certain beautiful Caribbean islands, right? They're ones who can't stand other Caribbean islands. That's a known damn thing for the people who know. But see, people think that American blacks are overall stupid, right? And to see, oh my goodness, they have some skin of black. They are our brothers and sisters. Without saying, hold the hell up. No, we need to find out how that person was before. Were they some of the personnel, numbers of personnel that look upon American blacks and say, they always talk about racism. They always talking about being oppressed, right? But see, they know there are quite enough American blacks that don't do that first, right? They just jump. The ones I'm talking about, the numbers of American blacks, they just jump, right, to the help of certain numbers of non-FBAs without saying, wait a minute now, we want to see first, again, what that person was about, right? And this also includes the ones under that nonsensical generic ass people of color banner, right? It's a whole different game on that the system is also utilizing, right, to replace numbers of American blacks in various places. A whole different powerful game in itself. And there is quite a number of American blacks that do not see what the hell is happening, with very few exceptions. And so, what's something else I was going to play? Oh, see, the thing about it again, American blacks, the ones who know, that understand that racism, anti-American black racial racism, terrorism has been going on quite a lot for centuries toward American blacks. Right? Right. So I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP show. And actually, let me play this last particular video.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Right. And shout out to, before I close this out, I just saw the text from brother Traveling Tony, great brother in Tanzania. Right. So there's some good numbers of African brothers and sisters over there. See, shout out to them. See, brother Traveling Tony, black man in America that went over to Tanzania. Right. And he got him a great, feminine, loving, that understands, right? She's Tanzanian. So shout out to brother Traveling Tony on that part. So again, I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.